Okay, we are live. Welcome to the Average Homies of Sigmar, episode 2. Today we're going to be chatting, what does it mean to be a homie? And we're going to talk some battle tactics as well. And of course, we're going to talk Average Homie of the Week and some hobbying. So without further ado, if you haven't met us before, I'm Steve, the Average Healthsmith, and I'll pass it over to the person to the right on the screen.
I think that's me. I'm Matt, the Average Alfarius.
And I'm Ed, the Average Gaz.
All right, so let's just kick off with this episode with what we did this week in the world of AOS. Ed, can you get us kicked off?
I did some painting, and I finished building my Gloomspite Gits Vanguard box.
Oh, nice. Gloomspite Gits.
Very
I get
cool.
more destruction. Matt?
You know what we need? We need a little intro jingle, is what I was just thinking. You know, like it's the Average Homies of AOS. You know, something like really catchy and dumb. Do you remember that model of the week or whatever? I can't remember. Anyways, so this week I got in TTS League and had the great privilege of playing against Mr. Pendleton Cox. It was a Slaves to Darkness versus Slaves to Darkness. He played the Oops All Champions, and I brought Dark Oath, and I just couldn't do anything to him. I think over the entire course of the game, I killed one horse and his manifestations. So it's such a good game though. And yesterday on Sunday, I went to a small tournament at Enter the Battlefield that became smaller because we got an absolute dumping of snow, and all the Toronto people were like, we can't make it. And totally understandable. I went 1-2. My first game was real close. Might have been able to win it. But most importantly to me, I won Best Sportsman. Yay!
Nice. That's what we strive for. So for myself, that's it.
Yep.
For myself, to be honest, not a lot of AOS this week. I played the other It Shall Be Not Named game system on the weekend. However, I did start painting up a little bit of Steel Helms, and I did work through last night with my daughter, kind of using Copilot because she wanted to talk about which factions are what in AOS. So we did a Copilot explain it to a young kid what each faction does, and the description it gave Seraphon was Star Wars meets Jurassic Park. And so she instantly so the focus instantly twigged towards Seraphon. So we went and looked, and then she came up with the idea that essentially we should build some Raptor Chargers, paint these Raptor Chargers, but then we should crowdsource the names. So she wants to name one. She wants to print out, we get a 3D printer, print out a little nameplate for it. So she's named the first Raptor Charger, which I assume is going to be the champion, Barry. I think Mabel is also taken as a name. And then she suggested that I leave it to those who watch this episode. So if you're watching right now and you want to chime in on what these Raptor Chargers should be named, leave a comment below on what you think the name should be. I will be scrupulous on it, though. No Raptor McRaptor face for these Raptor.
Oh, that's a good name.
We're waiting for Barry, the Raptor Charger box, to get here from Taps Games, and other than that, we're just kind of hanging out.
I vote for Yoshi for the
Yoshi. She's a good one.
Raptor. Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like that.
Hey, Age of Canuck.
Welcome, Age of Canucks. Good to see you. I know you're listening to us while you go about your routine, as you discussed with me earlier. But good to have you on the stream. Okay, with that being said, we kind of wrapped up what we did this week. Matt being the most active of us. And shout out to Pendleton, a great guy from the
Awesome.
Alberta AOS community. I know he's running a Teams event in May, I believe it is. Totally sold out, but if you're interested in that, I think there's a wait list. You can get a hold of him. And also, a great dude. For when we went to Matt and I went to the GW Open last year in Edmonton, and Pendleton had pretty much the entire AOS community over to his place night before, board games, barbecue. It was great. It's a great start to the weekend.
It was fantastic.
Yeah, a great dude. All right, so we'll move on from that, and we'll go to one of our first main talking points for this week, which is what does it mean to be a homie? And the alpha homie, the OG homie, can get us kicked off on this.
The OG is right. No, maybe not the OG homie, but the OG of anyways. So when Ed had initially brought this up, it was a question that he had asked. I really put a lot of deep thought into it, and it's like, what is a homie? And being homie is a vibe, if I'm going to use some new slang, which I'm not known to know a lot of, but it's being a vibe. It is helping an opponent make the best decision available with all the information available. So you're in the middle of a game and they're about to do something. You go, hey, FYI, this unit has strike first and they deal on average 40 wounds. Maybe you don't charge them. It's not saying that you're playing the game to lose, or that you're like trying to help your opponent win, but you're playing with all your cards on the table type thing, so that there's no gotcha moments and etc. It's letting your opponent have a take back when nothing important has happened. Over the weekend, I had somebody who had moved into the movement phase. He's like, oh crap, I forgot to do something in my hero phase. I'm like, do it. It's no biggie. It's not going to impact the board so massively that we can't continue playing. And it was a spell that basically gave a unit an extra rend or something. I can't remember exactly what it was, but it didn't change how the game was being played at that moment. For me, I always say to my opponent, I don't care about millimeters. And what that means is if you're measuring and we're hemming and hawing, whether you're within 18 inches, you're within 18 inches. I'm going to give you that extra half an inch. The only difference being is when it comes to charges, because half an inch is really huge when it comes to a charge. But like, if you're within millimeters, I'm going to give it to you every single time, because it's a game of dice rolling, and sometimes that random number generation doesn't come up perfectly. To me, it's not focusing on the outcome of the game. It's focusing on the social contract that I have with my opponent while playing the game. It's not to say that I don't want to win, because I do, but I want to be able to have a win and have both of us like okay with that result, where we're both not like, I feel like I cheated my opponent, or I feel like my opponent cheated me. Because that's no fun when that happens, when you lose and it's like, well, I didn't know about this and da 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 da. Ultimately, at the end of the event, being a homie means that every single one of your opponents felt that you were their best opponent on the day. And that's my take on what it means to be a homie.
Yeah, I mean, I totally agree. I mean, I learned it from the homie crew anyways. This is my journey into wargaming up in Ontario. Ed, do you have any other thoughts on what it means to be a homie? Riffing off what the master homie just outlaid there.
I mean, it's quite the tough act to follow. I genuinely don't know if I fully understand what it means to be a homie. I feel that I'm still well within my discovery phase, if that makes sense. I just try to be the best person I can be, and I aim to be an opponent that every one of my opponents would be ready and willing to play again. That's kind of
Yeah, I can buy that. I buy that for $1. I think I agree on both sides. It's to me, and this is a similar part of the topic. it's just having mutual respect for both yourself and your opponent, right? So it's like you said, if you're going to fiddle over a millimeter, then you're essentially creating stress and wasting time for that's something, but you're both one to enjoy, right? You're both putting time, you're both committing a resource, which is your valuable time. And as most people who are playing this game, unless you're like into it when you're early on, like in your 20s, the mid 30s and onwards with a family or with commitments or spouse, whatever it may be, you've put time in to put your models together. Hopefully you put time in to paint them. We talk about painting and homies after. But you've shown up, and then you want to give your opponent the same respect, right? They've done the same thing, and you want to have a good game. Like Ed said, you want to be able to be the one that you play again. That the game was enjoyable on both sides, and that's not to say. I think the key point too, like you mentioned, it's not to say you just lose. You don't go easy, and it's not fun when you go easy, right? Yep. You play your hardest in terms of playing your hardest and being a reasonable person, like trying to make good decisions. Sometimes the dice don't go your way. Don't be upset about that. If your opponent makes 5 up wards, for instance, you gotta live with that. you gotta live with that sometimes.
No comment.
At the TGX, my ward chanter missed his prayer roll 11 straight rolls, and they were all ones. Even my opponents were like, I can't believe that.
Yep.
So
that's rolling with it.
Yep.
You gotta,
and that's all you can do, really. Just
yep.
Awesome. Let's keep that rolling. I got that one out of the way. Maybe it won't be on my attack roll.
So I think we've hammered a lot on the sportsmanship aspect. So like being a good person. I mean, be a good person. Yeah, rule number 1, like we talked about. Be a good sport. Play well in terms of up to your limitations, or I say limitations, up to your capacity. Play up to your capacity, wherever that may be, and be happy with your capacity. If you want to improve, you want to improve. And if you want to have a good time, have a good time. It's being a homie doesn't mean that you have to be competitive. You have to be completely narrative. It's wherever your interest may lie on that. Is there any other stuff to being a homie you think that is kind of key to mention?
Yeah, we've got a member in our community, Kevin Wardrop, and he's an excellent player. He is, I think last year he was in like top 2 or 3 for global Night Hunt player. So like he is a S tier player, and anytime that I see him out at events or anything like that, if it's like an RTT where if his ITC points aren't going to get bolstered or whatever, he'll oftentimes grudge the newer players. And it's not so that he can get like an easy win. It's so that he can help them sort of have a better understanding of their own army or how the game plays. And he'll actually coach people through the game to help them see different angles. He's always like, for me personally, I can bounce ideas off of him and he'll give me the straight brass tacks on it. Like, no, this is not a good choice, but these are the reasons why it's not a good choice. But if you want to play it, go ahead and you can find out for yourself whether you like it or not. So Kevin is like, he's a highly competitive player. He does very well at events, but he's got this homie-esqueness to him because he is so willing to help out players, even like players that are at his skill level, and be like, whoa, you're going to make a mistake here. I think like that right there, in being that he's a competitive player, but he's always willing to try and bring the community up to his level. And I'm sure from a selfish standpoint, it means that you've got better players. It means that there's more challenge. But from his standpoint, he's this super good player that just wants to build the community to be better players by any means that he has at his disposal.
I can vouch for absolutely all of that because I played him at TGX, and that is exactly what I was facing across the table.
Yep.
Yeah, and I guess I will also vouch because in 3rd edition, probably, I think, the first ever AOS event I went to, being a 40K player prior to that, it was at Matt's previous store, and I got grudge matched by Kevin, probably because I was the only guy from the store playing, I think, as well. But I didn't even have 2,000 points of Slaves of Darkness. I was running Slaves of Darkness at the time. Didn't even have 2,000 points of Slaves of Darkness. So at that time, there was no regiments renowned. You could ally stuff in. So I allied in a Lord of Change just to make the points because it was like 500 points or something. Kevin told me like right away, he's like, I don't understand why is this in there. Like, I was thinking, like, is this tech? I'm like, no, man, I'm a brand new player and I'm making up points so I can participate in this tournament. And then from that point on, it was a good game in terms of like, okay, this is happening. Like he was steamrolling me, but he was talking through how the steamrolling was going down. And then after an action had completed, he could be like, you could have prevented it this way. Or like we finished like a battle round and he'd like talk through the end of the battle round, which I asked him and told him he didn't force it. Like I asked him to help it out. Yeah, so I think I agree with that sense of a homie. So like helping, coaching. I will also add, I wouldn't say this is controversial, but I would add that as you progress through your hobbying journey, being a homie is also trying to do your best in terms of other aspects of the hobby, other than being competitive. So we've talked about Kevin helping other people. If you're in, this isn't to say you have to paint your models, but if you're into painting, doing cool conversions, doing a display board, doing like pursuing your aspect of the hobby, I think also aligns with being a homie. It's not saying this is something everyone has to do, but I'm saying if you are interested in that lane, then being a homie is helping people in that lane. So we have the Kevin example for competitive play, but you could also be a homie in painting aspects or conversions, things of that nature. I'd throw that on the table.
My hot take for the next edition is that they will incorporate the 10 points for having a painted army, like 40K does. So. I am so surprised that it isn't there. It makes zero sense to me. Me being an avid painter, I dislike playing against unpainted armies. If I'm playing against somebody on a regular basis and I see progress being made, I'm more than happy to play against your plastic, your GW grade plastic, as long as there's progress being made. But when I go to a tournament, it disappoints me a little bit to play against an unpainted army. I personally feel that's my hot take, that every tournament should have a mandatory painting requirement. They don't have to win an award. Just put some paint on them.
Yeah, for those of us who just joined us, because I noticed a couple of people just popped into watching on Twitch, we're talking about what it means to be a homie in the hobby, and you've missed up to this point talking about being a good player, being a good sport, being competitive. Now we've moved on to the hot takes of painting. So if you've just jumped in now, the first thing you heard is a somewhat a hot take, but we're just trying to say that being a homie is progressing where you want to put your effort to it. And I think, honestly, I had a game at TGX playing an opponent last game. He told me he doesn't regularly go out to events because that the painting requirement's not there. He's like, it's just my own thing. I get grumpy when I don't play against painted armies, so I just don't go. I don't make people's days worse because, I'm playing against something and I'm in a bad mood. I just want to play against painted armies. So I definitely think there's something to that. I think they might put the points in. I agree. Here's a real hot take. I'll give you a real hot take. They don't have to wait for the edition. They have to wait for the GHB change.
Yeah, GHB change would be good.
Yeah.
Alter your primaries and your battle tactics points and then incorporate that. You go to a 100-point scale because this 80-point scale makes no sense to me. You go to a 100-point scale and I get 90 points from your battle tactics and victory points, and then 10 points for a painted army.
Awesome.
Yep.
Okay. Ed, anything else on this topic before we move on?
I like the idea of 10 points for painted army, but I am a type of person that I don't want to put a model on the field unless it's painted. So, and that's just a me thing. I will say that I prefer that my opponent be painted, but I don't think I would lose sleep over it. I don't think it would bother me.
Mm-hmm. And I'm the counterbalance to all this. I put great piles of shame on the table before, but as they all know, I do make progress when I do pick up piles of shame. Slow progress, but progress nonetheless. Yeah, we got a comment here. Would making a paint obligation turn away newer players from tournaments?
Nope.
I don't think so.
No, it wouldn't. It really wouldn't.
I don't think so as well. It just builds it builds a culture. We'll put it that way. It's like 40K, right? Some people I've played against people that just take the 10-point loss or loss,
Exactly.
like 10-point down, and then they play. I played my first tournament with like complete gray, and then I worked on it. It might take a person or two away, but I don't think it would take everyone away.
Well, what if it became 10 points discretionary at the tournament organizer's discretion, where like you've only had the models for 2 weeks, so I won't dock you the 10 points.
No,
you haven't had.
You got to be level with it. I think it's got to be in the
yeah.
player
Either it's black or white. I know. Yeah. Brad, when we were doing 40K at the store, Brad, I always bugged him because he didn't have painted models, and
Gray Knights.
And he says the minute that I lose a game because I didn't have painted models, I'll worry about it. And I think it was the minute he loses at placing on a podium because he didn't have painted models was when he would start to worry about it. And it was like karma smacked him in the face, because the very next tournament he placed fourth, but if he had painted models, he would have placed third, because that 30 extra points that he would have accumulated over the course of the 3 games would have bumped him into third place. And he immediately went and got his army commissioned.
It's 10 points per battle round. Like
per game.
Yeah,
per
so
game.
in 40K, you start the game with 10 points if you're painted.
Yeah.
So everyone gets 10 points if you're painted.
I just figured it was 10 points over the course of the entire tournament.
No. It's each game. Yep.
Well, I mean,
so it's impactful.
I mean, yeah, that I can definitely see how that might turn newer players away.
It's I know, like, I would like to see where GTs it's mandatory. I know a lot of smaller things for 40K. I know this is an AOS talk, but 40K is sort of like a good template for
hobbying in general.
Because it's like a lot of the smaller tournaments, TOs will say painting rules are not enforced. Painting rules are, you get the automatic 10 battle points. But for a GT, I think a lot of TOs for GTs are like, no, painting is mandatory. It's written right into the player pack for a lot of things.
Yeah, I mean, as long as you know what it is, then you can plan around it.
Yep.
All right. Controversy aside, let's move on to the next section.
Okay.
I had to bring it up. I was like, yes, sportsmanship is good, but painting's still a thing. Hobbying's still a thing. And it plays an aspect. Okay, so battle tactics. Today we want to talk about battle tactics. And just to be clear for everyone out there who's going to listen to this or listening now, it isn't like a very, the title of this is average. Homies of Sigmar, right? We're going to give you our takes on why we pick certain battle tactics, or what we think are easy to achieve, what we think are hard to achieve. And maybe during the course of this, you'll see why we're completely average players. And maybe during the course of this, you'll pick something up and be like, that certainly works for me as well. So I'm going to flip up the screen here. I've got just the battle tactics on there. And if you're watching right now, feel free to add a comment in the chat. We'll talk to you about battle tactics. We'll talk to your comments too. We'll read them out and we'll talk through it. But with the current GHB, battle tactics are a big thing. You have to essentially put them to your list before the start of an event or a game. And I think only one thing in the game can change them, and that's Kairos, right?
Correct.
Yeah. So you're pretty much locked unless you're playing Zeech and you have Kairos. And then they score as you go throughout the game. So let's just kick it off. How do you select battle tactics? So Ed, how do you select battle tactics?
I mean, I have seven games under my belt, and 4 of them were shared battle tactics amongst the team. But I would choose ones that I'm comfortable with. So, like, if I were to play a one-off game now, Wrathful would be one of my choices, and probably Restless Energy.
That's a good pick.
Because they're the ones I'm comfortable with.
Mm-hmm. I think it's a great point. Like, it is personal preference. So I was thinking as I was hitting running on the treadmill today, trying to turn my brain off because I hate running. About thinking about battle tactics and what we're going to talk about today. And I came to I don't want to say it's an epiphany, but a realization as well is that I need to start choosing battle tactics that suit my style, even if it might not suit the army completely. If the
That's
army
fair.
can get one or two of them, maybe that just makes for a better play experience. And so, so like Ed said, once he's comfortable with, I have a bit more games under my belt, but I've found over the last year or two that the success I have is when I just go aggressive. Like I love to get up into it, being aggressive. Essentially, the freedom, because in Sigmar you have the freedom to do this, is to leave your home because things are sticky. You can come back to it in a lot of maps. You can leave your home objective and push forward. You're not babysitting a lot of stuff unless there's a huge deep strike problem. So for me, it's, I'm thinking, okay, restless energy, and that restless energy is a starting point, right? Taking something back, getting into their territory. Those are two things I think I like to do anyways, regardless of army. Intercept and recover for me, I'll take it, but it's not one. Even if I want to be aggressive, that means the opponent can play around it. It gives opponent agency, so I'm not hugely in love with intercept. It does have a place. And then, Wrathful is also a good choice to go with Restless. Attune is a no for me. And then Master of the Past is great too because you start with killing a hero. So all that to say, before I flip it over to Matt here, is that when I select battle tactics, I did select for what I thought would be best for the army and kind of the optimal solution. But I think I'm going to start leaning towards what I think my playstyle is, regardless. Like I might play Hellsmiths with Restless at the next RTT and just see how it goes and start push up the boards because that's my playstyle. Even if the army might not be the optimal army to do that, I might just try it. But Matt, what's your thoughts?
I have two ways of choosing battle tactics. I either choose battle tactics that I think are best suited for the army that I've created, or I will create an army around the two battle tactics that I decide that I want to do. I'm getting to the stage in gameplay where I'm looking at the player packs now and saying these are the battle plans that are being used. What battle tactics are going to be good for those battle plans? And of course, from an average standpoint as well. This past weekend, there was 2 missions, 2 battle plans that didn't have the center line territory. So it was just like the 11-inch territories. And I thought Scouting Force is really good for that because it's easy for me to achieve step 1. I'm at a point now where I look for what are the easy step 1s, the average step 2s, and I rarely look at step 3s because I'm not at a point where I think I'm achieving those. So yeah, I tend to flip-flop. There are a couple that I just avoid completely, and it's intercept. I do not play intercept. I think that it's too easy to stop scoring them. And Wrathful Cycles, although I've started using it, is one of the ones that's at the lower end of my pool that I would use. I'm mostly Restless, Master, and Attuned. I love Attuned. I love building armies around Attuned. But I play a lot of armies that are, I don't care about these units. So if they die, they die.
If he dies, he dies.
Exactly.
I hope you say it like that when you throw your Dark Oath Horde into the
I do.
into the grinder.
I do.
Agent Canuck put a comment in there. Smooth brain move. Okay, an army like Daughters of Cain, where everything is infantry or cavalry, and pick scouting. Yeah, that's totally fine.
And I think that that's good. But again, if you're playing 3 games, pardon me, at an RTT, and all of them have that down the middle territory line, in my brain, it becomes more difficult to achieve stage 1. Stage 2 and 3 becomes super easy because the terrain and objectives are all in your enemy territory. But if you can't achieve step 1, then you can't get step 2 and 3.
Here,
but I'm always a fan of try it 3 or 4 games, And if you find that it doesn't work, then you move on from it.
Yeah, 100% agreed. As he says, I will offer one thing I found with scouting, because I played a lot of it last year. A lot. Like, I think I played scouting since after the GW Open until TGX. I always had it in all my lists. And like you say, it's some maps it's tough. It telegraphs to the opponent what's going to happen, but it depends on the army too. So if you're going to think scouting, have units to do it that you don't, because the key thing is not in combat. So like have units you don't care about being in combat. So for example, when I played Soulblight Gravelords, I don't care that the Barrow Knights weren't in combat for 2 turns. They're not a hammer. They're not dealing damage. If they get into combat, oh well, something is in combat with them that is probably not killing them and is tying it up from touching my Blood Knights. It's touching things that are important to me. So you can also think of it, all that to say, as a distraction for your opponent. Distraction Carnifex tactic for your opponent, right? Yo, I got to stop this. But like, oh, you got to stop what? 3 dudes wandering off to the side? Is it worth it?
And like, to add to that point, putting it like on cavalry, and if you're playing an army that has cavalry that has 4 or 5 wounds, saving that command point for an end of turn power through and getting them out of combat allows you to get that 3rd unit. Like if your opponent thinks I'm going to do a cheeky counter charge or something, there's the opportunities are there, and it's always trying to find them. I've used Scouting Force a lot with Dark Oath because they do it really easily, because if I have a unit die, it just pops up in their backfield and I achieve it. Like, yahoo! It's easy for me. But I will sometimes flood getting out of like the territory with 5 or 6 units and say you can't charge them all. Or you do it with 4 units and it's like, I'm going to achieve this. The problem is that I will overextend too many times by trying to achieve those battle tactics.
Yep. I think one last thing on Scouting Force, we'll flip back to Ed for some orcish thoughts on battle tactics for the destruction minded. Yeah. One thing I find with Scouting Force, and I think you gave me a great point, is the power through. And I often forgot to use it at the start, and I started using it at the back end of 2025 because it'd be like, okay, Blood Knights go up, they power through, and now they're like contesting an objective and another piece of terrain, and some Barrow Knights are over there being stupid, doing their thing, and you score points off it.
Exactly.
As we're talking now, there's the hamster wheel is running, turning in my brain on Bull Centaurs. Bull Centaurs, because there's a battle formation where they double their health characteristics for power through.
Yep.
So you could run, theoretically, it depending on, you could run MSU Bull Centaurs and just power through one of them and then have infantry. So like 2 of them go in and delete something that you actually want to delete, and one of them goes away and leapfrogs back and creates something that's a problem. Because as a Hellsmith player, I don't want my castle touched. I don't want the guns touched. I don't want the little dudes with the rifles touched. Go touch my bulls. Touch them in the back. So it works that way. Yeah, you love that touch, yeah.
Go touch them in the back.
Go touch my bulls in the back. Okay. With that being said, we'll toss it over to the destruction minded for his thoughts.
It's funny that you bring up power through, because I didn't know that was a thing before the RTT. That was an aspect of the game I didn't know, and it happened, and then I was like, oh, what is that? And I do definitely need more practice using that kind of battle strategy. I need practice with every battle strategy, to be fair. I just need to get more games in. But yeah, that's definitely something, an aspect of the game that I didn't think about when building my list. But I'm endeavoring to push myself outside of my comfort zone and get away from the battle tactics that I'm comfortable with. I had it tuned to Gairan at the TGX, and I ran into some problems trying to figure out how to get the first level where I took the center of the board, because in my head, I thought letting my opponent go first was a great idea, and they took the middle of the board, and then I didn't get there.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it's all about the learning
Exactly.
and not making that mistake again.
We had a little visitor there. Sorry, I'm back. I think you bring up a great point, though. With that is you're talking about what are one of the, so what are the hardest ones to achieve? We talked about scouting force being easy if you plan for it. We talked about master the pass, killing a hero and stuff, and restless restless kind of easy to take one back. Like, oh look, that's someone there. I'll go take it back. What do you think is like the hardest ones? I think Ed hit the nail on the head. Is attune is super hard unless you plan for it.
The first stage isn't.
If you get
it is easily the easiest first stage battle tactic to achieve. There is zero interaction from your opponent necessary. Like, you don't have to do anything. All that you have to do is have 2 units within 6 inches of the center of the battlefield.
Is it 6?
All it
I thought
does,
it was 3.
Oh, is it 3?
3?
Yeah, sorry, 3.
It's 3.
3. It's a battle. Yeah, sorry, 3. But all that it requires is you going first.
Yep, and
that's the key. That's the key.
But here's the thing: is that I don't think that we are at that level yet. But it'd be an interesting concept of I'm taking a tune to Gairan to force you, my opponent, to go first, and then I take advantage of you going first. Now I get, because I'm a very much I want to play second in the battle round type of player. So me choosing this battle tactic, forcing my opponent to go first, and maybe not in their game plan to send 2 units or a unit or something into the center of the battlefield. And now I can outmaneuver, outposition, and get them off of their game. It might be interesting. I don't know. Maybe I find that in 4th edition, the battle tactics, there isn't as much of an emphasis on denying battle tactics as it was in 3rd edition. And I could be way off the mark on this, but I feel that in 3rd edition, we actively were trying to deny battle tactics. And yeah.
No, I agree with you. I think. Oh, yeah, go ahead.
I was going to say Age of Canucks is my kindred spirit, because they also appear to have difficulties screwing up who should go first. So glad that I have a kindred spirit, because I'm in the same boat.
It kind of staggers me on just picking up this thread here. How, thinking through the couple of games I've had in the last 2 or 3 months, how important that has turned out to be in the last couple of things. Because when the double happens, because in my head I'm kind of planning like there's a double, I'm gonna double or I'm gonna get doubled. Someone somewhere is getting doubled in this game, and when is it happening? And being set up to either receive it and deal with it or execute it. It depends a lot on that first or going second, because I've found in my last couple games where I end up going first. Because I had more drops and he outdropped me and he didn't want to go first, etc. And then it just sets the opponent up like for that immediate double or a double later if the turn order keeps repeating. Right. So I think it does play a little bit with the battle tactics, but it's a whole other avenue unto itself, which again I agree with Matt. We're not quite at that level to we're not Skaven masters of the like going first or second at all yet.
I'll dabble with it every now and then and be like, oh, if I do this and this and this, and then I think I'm down the right path, and then no, I'm not, which is fine. That's how we learn, right?
Yeah, I like my crutch Archeon, because then I know just bring Archeon, and then you will know what's going to happen next.
And you don't get punished if you end up having the double. You don't get punished in any way.
Yeah, it's great. Love that model. Yeah. So I mean, back to the battle tactics though. That's the key thing for me that I really hate about Attuned to Gairan is like I run into someone that would not allow me to get there first and goes first, and then it's just this constant. If they have the units, the combat, like if it's Nurgle, okay, I guess I'll never score this.
Right. I
But
guess
if
the other thing. Sorry, go ahead.
No, you go ahead. No.
I was going to say the other thing too is sometimes playing against somebody with a tune is just making sure that you're not in combat with two units. Let them get that first stage and just make it so that like you're not in combat, so that they're not easily achieving that second stage right off the hop.
Yeah, 100%. It's fiddly. It's a tough one to like. I find it super tough.
And it's one of my favorites. Honestly, Attuned is one of my favorites.
I'd rather play Wrathful than Attuned. God.
I find Wrathful, for me, Wrathful has been difficult because it wants you to be ahead on points, but then be behind on points.
Or get doubled.
Yeah, or get doubled. Exactly.
Yeah.
And I just, it's a difficult one for me. Like I took it this past weekend, and over 3 games, I scored 4 or 5 of them actually, because my opponent had to double me.
Yeah, see, I
which
like that.
Gave me the underdog. But like we're talking on turn 4, I'm achieving it. Turn 5, I'm achieving the second stage.
It's an insurance policy, really.
Yeah.
Yep. Anything else on Battle Tactics before we kick it off to the average homie of the week, as we're kind of cruising through on our time here?
Yeah. I think I'm with Ed. Choose the ones when you're starting off with what you think you can achieve, the step 1 of, and then make it so that the step 2 is achievable, but you're not pushing to achieve the stage 3. But find the ones that you're comfortable with that fit your play style. Yeah.
Yep. Couldn't agree more. All right. With that, we're going to move off Battle Tactics and we're going to go to our segment we call the Average Homie of the Week. The Average Homie of the Week is someone who came in almost dead middle of an event. And so this week, then we go over their list and see what makes them a great Average Homie of the Week. This week, the list comes from Call to Glory 2026, which was a huge 5-round event in Australia. And we'll pull up the list here. This is Duncan Cross. I believe he ended at, let's see here, 67th out of 131. So pretty close to the middle. I have agency to go up or down by 1 here. Duncan Cross. This is an Iron Jaws list, so this is right up Ed's alley. The lion, the beep, and the wardrobe. Keeping the kids safe there.
The wardrobe.
The wardrobe, yes.
The wardrobe.
As you can see, there's things are renamed in here. So our resident Iron Jaws player, we'll toss it over you to start off with. Take a look at this list.
All right. So his general regiment is Grim Gore, the Doom that came for Spare Room.
Spare Room,
yeah. So so it's Kragnos, End of Empires. This is a model I don't currently have. I am planning on getting it very shortly because it'll fit in both my destruction armies. And a model that I'm not entirely familiar with because I've never played with it or against it. I will say the model looks really cool. That's how I choose my models.
I can help
not necessarily.
I can help you out with the rules here on that one because I just played this model TGX a lot. He's taking it for 3d6 charge or 12 inches for all his other guys, or anti-monster, because when it runs into a monster on the charge, rolls 2 dice. Boom! Boom! It multiplies them. And as long as you don't get a 7, so 6 times 5, you can do like 30 mortal wounds. So I think it's in there just to give the other things, which you can tell us what they are. It gives them 3d6 charge, or he comes and beats up stuff with the other stuff.
Yeah. First regiment is Kraka Gorbane, Godric, the Fist of Gork. More lovingly known to known around this house as a head of cabbage.
Head cabbage, head cheese.
Yeah. Regiment 2 is Snaga Icefane, the Rime Touched. Again, another Mega War Boss on a Mock Crusher, so slightly smaller head of cabbage. And then Thyma Frosttide, which is a second Mega Boss on a Mock Crusher. So we now have 3 heads of cabbage on the table.
And Craig
and
knows. That's amazing.
I love it.
This dude is a homie.
Is that is a selection. And then what kind of caught me off guard was the Regiment of Renown, the Exile Scavengers. I've never seen this before with Iron Jaws, so that is definitely an interesting choice.
Yeah, and we'll turn to our resident flying dwarf lover to tell us all about this Regiment of Renown. Yeah, that's you. Don't turn away. Don't pretend like you didn't want to build a KO army last summer.
Yeah, back when they had an 18% win rate.
How called out do you feel right now?
Yeah, but way back in the day when they were trash, the only army that was doing worse than them was Bone Splitters.
Yeah, before they got legended.
This was, to me, a very interesting Regiment of Renown. Part of me thinks that it was chosen because it was 410 points, and maybe he had the models. Again, from an average standpoint, I don't see what this regiment does that benefits his army greatly. They have a really cool ability that you can blow up artifacts. For like if you're in close combat with a unit that has an artifact of power, you roll a die, and for every unit from the Regiment of Renown that is engaged with that unit, you add +1, and on a 6+, the artifact of power is just gone. Which is pretty cool, but I don't see that greatly affecting a game. I could be wrong on that. The gun hauler is like cool. I think the Gyran ones are a lot better, personally speaking. And it's like what, a unit of 3 Sky Wardens and an Endrin Master.
Yeah.
Which like. To me, it's a mobile unit, but Iron Jaws have, in my opinion, better units for that point value that does, good things. It could just be that it adds a shooting element as well to the army.
That is something that Iron Jaws definitely lack.
They do lack that, but I don't think you need it. I think I tend to lean with if we're going down the theory hole here with Matt, it's a points sink because you're on a weird points with like having 3 cabbage. So either you just can put some infantry on the board and like use them, or you can have this. And this is kind of interesting in the fact the only kind of, I would say cool, but like the only utility I see out of it is that it essentially can come in on your movement phase and go somewhere. So like you're running 3 heads of cabbage around and it can just go retake a point. It can go do something. Let's take a look at his battle tactics while we're kind of like theorizing here. Intercept and recover, restless energy. Okay.
That seems on point for this list.
Yep. I think it could help with restless energy anyways. So you have those multi-objectives in the back. You send your monster castle up to one thing, and then you send your are they better at shooting than bolt boys and going big wah? Interesting. We'll talk about it in a second.
I don't think so, but yeah.
Okay, so for those who are listening, Age of Canucks asks, are the Caradron Overlord that we're talking about better at shooting a bolt boys and going big wah? It's tough because I can't remember the big wah rules, but you lose some of those Iron Jaws traits when you go big wah.
That's true.
Let me look at it here. I've got the Auric War Clan thing on my phone up. Rules of Renown. We got you, Age of Canucks. We'll look this up right now, Rick. So instead of the Iron Jaws battle traits, which is wah, adding that +1 attack, +1 to charge. Okay, give them heroic traits. Add 1 and run rolls, charges for Iron Jaws unit. Okay. Big Y, you can replace units. You have some recursion. But 3 or more models, so you can replace cabbage in this list. Power of the Wa. They have the Power of the Wa keyword. And then the Power of the Wa keyword is Chris, it's a 5. Yeah, I wouldn't. I don't think so. I think if you're running personal take, if you're running Iron Jaws, As long as someone shooting to Iron Jaws. If only Iron Jaws were chaos, I could take the Hellsmiths of his shoot Curse Steel Battery, which is the premier shooting one in my opinion.
Absolutely.
I don't think it. I just think you got to lean into what you're good at. I don't know if you need shooting. I don't know. Like shooting is fun. Playing all aspects of the game is fun. It's cool to have another phase. But like, take it away. You tell me. You want shooting in your Iron Jaws army? You did talk.
Well,
about
I mean, to be fair, there is technically
fair.
shooting with this list because the heads of cabbage can shoot. They have the dragon's breath, I guess, is what you want to call it.
Mhm.
But no, I definitely would like to see some sort of. I don't know if I necessarily want to see a unit of like archers, but I do know that there was a rumor that I was reading on Reddit a couple weeks back where they were talking about the possibility of a siege weapon being added to the Iron Jaws list, and that would be cool. that was a titillating aspect. Like I was like, okay, I can dig that.
Good word choice. I like it.
So I could dig that, like a siege weapon of some sort.
Hey, so Age of Canuck, I just looked up the regiments of renown. You don't have to go Big Wah. You can just take the Big Grix Q shots as a regiment of renown and not break your Iron Jaws traits.
What is that? Oh, it's the Cruel Boys?
Gotcha. It's the Beast Skewer Kill Bows, the big one.
Yeah.
And some Bolt Boys.
Yep.
And then it gives you the normal benefits for the bow on monsters. So there you go. You don't have to break your Iron Jaws traits. You can take this. 3 Bolt Boys and a Bolt Bow for 320. It's not bad. It's not terrible. That's definitely another option this guy could have considered.
Which would have left him with 90 points to play with.
Matt's favorite. You get an extra command point. Why wouldn't you?
My favorite is when you have a 1970 list and go, what am I supposed to do here?
Run morbid. But there you go, Agent Connect. You can see on screen, might I interest you in a Kill Bow and 3 Bolt Boys? That is a possibility. I would also offer you should just play Chaos like any good player and play the Hellsmiths of his shoot.
Oh, that's great.
Yes, but all that to say, congratulations, Duncan Cross. You are our average homie of the week. Round of applause. Round of applause.
Oh.
Salute you, sir.
That's right. And we'll get to your other question there at the end, Age of Canuck. So, with that being looked at, we're going to move on to our last segment of the day before we wrap up. It's the hobby time.
Hobby time.
Hobby. What do we do? Ed, lead us off. You are our hobby champion.
I don't know if I qualify as a hobby champion.
What do you want me to throw up there first? You are our hobby champion. You've painted more models than either of us.
I mean, that's just because, I sit down in my little hobbit hole and...
Because you do it.
Because of what? I'm the retired one. I have nothing but time on my hands.
Yeah. We got full-time jobs, Ed.
It's true. I also want to point out that I'm also sitting here for my full-time job at the same time. So, yes. So, last week I had said that I wanted to get the 5 Ard Boys finished, and you can see there they are done. I technically still have to do a black rim around the base, but I'm going to call that done.
Green rim? Sorry? I thought you meant to say Goblin Green.
No.
As your rim base.
I like bringing up the idea of a green rim because the vein in Matt's forehead just starts throbbing. I personally don't like the green rims either. If my opponent likes them, giddy up, let's go. But not for me. Although I was very tempted for a while to go purple, just because.
That'd be cool. I like it. I'm down with it.
So, my bases are no longer visible. It counts as obscuring.
Oh, I'll give that obscuring Iron Jaws walking up the board.
And I got the 1 Gore Gunta that I had started finished. You'll see that there on the front right. As well as I didn't finish, unfortunately. The other 5 to make that unit what is the word? My brain turned off there.
Reinforced?
Thank you. the unit being reinforced. I was planning on doing a lot of painting on Saturday, but I forgot that I had a prior engagement. We ended up going down to Toronto to the Meridian Hall to watch Lord of the Rings, The Fellowship of the Rings, with a live orchestral accompaniment.
That seems good.
It was really good. And I have a sign on my desk here that my beautiful wife made for me that allows me to keep count of the amount of models that I have painted so far this year. And right now I am at 17 finished, and once I finish the 5 that are on my painting desk, that number will go to 22. I am hoping to have that done before the end of the month. I am also hoping to have 156 done by the end of the year. So all signs are looking good at the 156. I may actually blow past that number.
Perfect.
Nice.
Hopefully. Touch wood. Touch wood.
And we'll go over here, over to Matt.
Aha, yes. So I had a unit of 10 Dark Oath on my table that I wanted to get finished for the tournament on Sunday, and I achieved it. Yay!
And they look fantastic.
A little contrast plus is what they are. It's just contrast paints with some shades and like minimal dry brushing, highlights, stuff like that. It's just to get them to a battle ready status.
Yeah, Age of Connect says I'm having problems finishing my 5 brutes. Too much planning. Isn't planning Turing's considered hobby? Yeah, you heard us.
I would agree with you.
It is hobby.
Absolutely.
And you are single-handedly keeping this scene alive in Alberta, well, northern Alberta, and we thank you for it. It is a true. You are.
We salute you, sir.
Correct.
And I'd also done a converted Dark Oath Chieftain, so it's a Savager, and I had bought an Eternus model a while ago, and it comes with extra bits to make like a Chaos Lord, so I stuffed his head on and changed out the axe for a hammer, and got him done.
Nice. I like it.
Yeah.
So I did a lot of hobby last week, but it wasn't for AOS. It was 40K for that thing. But I did do some this morning and today. So I did some work on the chair of power. So this is Croak Space I'm working on here. As you can see, the one little thing I've been working on is they're like the coral reef snake. Red over yellow. Hello there, fellow, or whatever it is. Yellow over red.
Touches black. You're okay, Jack. Red touches yellow. You're going to be a sorry fellow.
Yeah, so I had to look it up to make it the poisonous snakes. Because in my head, he got bit by the poisonous snakes, and now he's dead. Doing his Dead Star slant thing. Should have known his own kind, but he didn't. Not a good. Was a herpetologist. So yeah,
that saying from Natural Born Killers, silly bee, you knew I was a snake.
Yeah.
I just dated myself there, didn't I? Okay, carry on.
I mean, no, I think that movie still has a very cult following. I don't think it's necessarily that aging or age indicating. And of course, it's Woody Harrelson. I mean, that dude just doesn't make bad movies.
Yeah, all right. Yeah, so the chair is getting worked on. It's while I wait for Barry and Maple to arrive, and when Barry and Maple arrive, they're going to get built. And then I've had someone who's told me she's going to paint them, so we're going to see about that. If she doesn't paint Barry and Maple, I will put it on here.
I want to see her painting. I think that she's going to do some excellent things.
We'll see. She has her sister to keep up with, though. So,
I mean, we all have to keep up with her.
Yeah, the Termagon
Queen.
So that's my hobby for the week. And next week, I hope I'm going to have a bunch of Hellsmiths built and some painted because I'm going to head off to the RTT that AG Canucks is throwing with my Hellsmiths army.
Nice.
Okay, that's hobby for the week. We do have one last little question here that we didn't answer for Age of Canucks. We can finish that out before we...
Actually, you know what? I'm reading that over, and I think that would be a really good talking point for the next episode.
How far? Okay, so I'll read the question out. So Matt is seeing how you three are at different levels, air quotation, of playing. I want to know how far ahead each of you are playing your moves. A turn ahead, a full round, if any. We can carry this one to the next one for sure.
I think that would be an excellent talking point for the next one.
Yes. All right. Any last remarks here before we close this one out?
Actually, you know what? I do. I found an inspirational quote on an Instagram post from an Instagram account called average.man.official.
Oh,
And
is
the
this the one
quote
you
was,
sent?
I think so.
It's
You
great.
don't need 3 hours to paint. You need 15 minutes and permission to stop. Stop waiting for the perfect session. One shoulder pad, one wash, one highlight. That's not being lazy. That's consistency. The hobby is supposed to recharge you, not judge you.
Yeah.
That hit hard.
I can't say anything else better. With that, I think I'll end the episode. All right. For those out there who are watching, listening, thank you for watching, listening. Please like, subscribe, and we'll put out a more regular schedule as we get a little bit more regular with this. And that's all I have for today. So this is the Average Hellsmith signing off and passing
the
it over
average
to my
Alfarius signing off.
Average Gaz.
next time.